communicate is differently. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but on platforms like Instagram, no longer do we give the real thing we're trying to say as the thing we first type. The thing we first type now is this quippy comment, you know, like orange sky, and then hashtag beautiful sunset on my drive home. So we put what we're actually really trying to say in this hashtag after this kind of cool thing we say at the start. So we are actually changing the way in which discourse happens. And that's important for us to know. We also, if you look at the relational reality now, there is a huge fear of missing out that has never existed in the past because we had no clue what we were missing out on at the same level or rate that we do now. So there is this constant scanning that is occurring, and we're kind of aware of so many options that we can tend to feel overloaded, and the quality of our relationships, I think, really is looking different. We now look like we have wider nets of relationships, so we have a wider range, but for many people, and the research is starting to kind of look at this now, there is a lack or a feeling that there is a lack of depth, that there isn't the same kind of knowing that you've got people with you for the long haul in the tough times. You've got a very full plate of people who you're connected to, but not so much the depth. This is also fed by an ever-growing and constantly changing bunch of spaces that we can live in. These are, Facebook is tending to be gravitated away from in young adults and adolescents now. Most of them are not using Facebook anymore. Many of them are gravitating to sites like WhatsApp and Kik, which allow for kind of unlimited texting. They also allow for social networking. They've got their own search engines embedded. But there are these constantly new places for them to inhabit, and there's a feeling that they've got to kind of keep up everywhere. And that also then takes away from the time that they would have to develop relationships that are more complex. They also are dealing with, or we are dealing with now, a time where there's kind of no sense of moderated intimacy. In the past, I would, if we were going to create a relationship, I would disclose a little bit to you. I would find out based on how you handled that disclosure if you were trustworthy or not, and then I would make commensurate decisions about what else to share with you, and we would kind of go in this back and forth way. Now, many of you, probably before you decided to give time to this, Googled me, you know, and wanted to find out what you could find out there. You can find out a lot about people before you ever meet them. And so there's this sense that you have all this information, but no commensurate kind of experience to go with that, or way to know how to go deeper. This also is hit on by the sense of decreased empathy because, again, we are not developing the self in the same way. We also aren't developing empathic connections in the same way. I believe that's largely because in so many of our digital spaces, we live in a way in which we objectify